Bonjour, mon ami. Do you want to become fluent in French? Do you want to speak French confidently, but you don't have someone to practice with, or you don't find the time to practice French so that you get to reach your goal? My name is Llyane Stanfield, and you are watching a French Minute with Llyane, where you practice with me every day. And I am giving you a sneak peek in the same time inside of my signature program, J'Ouellette Intensif, which helps you reach the advanced level of conversation. Today is day number 10 of 24, and these videos expire from Facebook. So if you want to have instant access and forever access to play and replay them, all 24, please click on the link in the description of this video and you can find them there. And now I would like to give you a very short sample of from lesson number 27 from level A. Level A is the beginner's level, and even Alliance Française has exactly the same way to split the levels, A, B, and C. A is the beginner's level, B is the intermediate level, and C is the advanced level. And A is also split in A1, A2, and then B1, B2, C1, C2. The reason I'm giving you all this is because J'Ouellette Intensif helps you reach level C1. So you are introduced and made comfortable. I help you to be comfortable with using subjunctive in conversation, and that's quite a big deal because it's really used and pretty confusing for a lot of people. So today, a little sample from lesson 27, where we introduce the future tense. Now, before this point, we introduced other tenses, I believe. Well, it's present. Anyway, if you go into the link from the description of this video, you will see another link there to the intensive program, and you will see exactly the tenses and the verbs that are introduced, and you will end up using confidently in the French conversation. But today is about future. So I'm going to read and then translate and then explain. So for now, let me just paste in under the video, so you're going to see it under the video so you can follow with me. La classe finira à 11 heures. Jean et Paul se lèveront et rentreront à la maison des parents. So I'm going to reread now and translate. La classe finira à 11 heures. The class will finish at 11. Jean et Paul se lèveront et rentreront à la maison des parents. Jean et Paul and Paul will get up and will come back to a parent's house. So that's pretty much in proper English. So what do we have here? So yes, we do have the future tense, finira. That's the verb finir in the future tense. And then Jean et Paul se lèveront, and this is a verb that is in the reflexive mode. So reflexive is already introduced by this level, by this point in time. Et rentreront, this is not a reflexive verb, but is also in the future. À la maison des parents, at parents' house, at parents' house. We can also say à la maison if we just refer to their home, so they go home. But if we really want to emphasize the fact that they go to the parents' house, and that's à la maison des parents or chez les parents, right? So there are different ways, and all these things, remember, we are not focusing here on words. I am not focusing on words. You can do that on your own you don't need me for words. or for verb conjugation per se. So memorization of vocabulary and verb conjugation, it's all your responsibility. You can have 2 books and you're good to go. But how you will use them and what they mean, was the subtext, and in what situation we are using these words and phrase constructions, this is what you need me for. Also the pronunciation, but we're talking about phrase construction in this series. So sure, this is about addressing one of the objections that I heard, that these texts are about children. We have children, we were children once, so we can relate to this. But if you really think about it, going back to my point that words are easy to learn, you can replace these words in the same phrase construction with other words of your own experience if you're an adult, and most of you are. So don't feel that the vocabulary is limited, because it doesn't have to be. What we are focusing is the phrase construction, which is the one thing that even advanced people who don't or know French at an advanced level don't quite use confidently these phrase constructions in the conversation, which is the most important thing. Oh yes, I wanted to talk about the future tense a little bit. So we take the infinitive, and I hope that you know the infinitive, what infinitive is, and if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Please don't feel inhibited by that. Some people know, some people don't. It doesn't matter. I can explain to anybody. So the infinitive verb is the form of the verb. The infinitive form is the form of the verb that we find it in the dictionary. So when we look up a verb, in English would be to eat is the name of the verb generic. That's not conjugated. And then I eat, you eat, he eats, and that would be the conjugation. Many people don't know what these are, and so I would like to make you feel comfortable with watching these videos and reaching out to me to go further into learning French, because you do not need to know grammar before you come here to work with me. I am very skilled at explaining it to you, even if you have no idea of grammar. I've worked with all types of people, and the point here is to make conversation confidently. Grammar is necessary, and so it's my job to explain it to you your way, the way that it actually means something to you and that you understand easier. So infinitive is the name of the verb. To eat, it's like manger, for instance. And then we add endings, the endings of the future tense, which you can find in any verb conjugation book. You don't need me for that. What I do want to say is this. We do have 3 groups of verbs. So ER, IR, and RE. And they all behave the same way. We do have exceptions as well. So there are exceptions in formation of the future tense. So that's another story. I'm talking about regular verbs now. So when we create the formation of the future tense is taking the root of the infinitive. Mangerai. So manger, mangerai. Finir, finirait, and rendre, rendrait. So I wanted to talk about this, the fact that the final E drops from the third group. So it drops from the infinitive. And that is simply because it's E followed by vowels. So that's just something that you should know. And once you know that, it's much easier to conjugate all the verbs, including the verbs from the third group. If you have any questions, please write into under this video. I'm very open to answer any questions, and also about the future tense, as well as about the intensive program altogether.